Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Tonight we'll have highlights from East Brunswick's first annual Visual Arts Celebration, where artists from all over the tri-state area came to the municipal complex to show their work. Before the schools let out for summer, we'll take a look at two projects that just took place. One was a garden project at Bauman Row School, and the Character Counts celebration at Memorial School. The Town Council did not have a meeting this week, so Mayor Bill Neary used the opportunity to schedule a forum focusing on the two commuter parking facilities run by the town. We'll hear from another winner of the Friends of Recreation and Parks Award and information on a benefit concert for the Women Aware organization. And we'll close tonight with some scenes from this year's Flag Day ceremony held by the East Brunswick Elks Club. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Saul Fink, President of the East Brunswick Recreation and Parks Advisory Board. We're here to honor the individual award from the Friends of the Recreation and Parks this evening. The award was created by the RPAB to recognize the efforts of an individual who assisted the township's recreation, parks, and community service programs. The recipients receive a commemorative award, and a plaque with all the recipients' names is proudly displayed in the Division of Recreation. This year's individual award winner is Karen Thier. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, thanks.
Karen, how many years have you been involved in East Brunswick in the recreation and civic activities? And tell us just a little bit more, and tell the viewers a little bit more about the many varied activities you've done. Okay.
I've been involved since 1993. I started out being actively involved in the Lawrence Brook School PTA from 93 to 99. I served as a member on SPACE, which stands for Spectacular Playground and Community Experience. I helped with fundraising, and I helped build the playground that was designed by the kids and built by the community. I served on the East Brunswick Public Schools Community Planning Committee, helping to study enrollment projections and facility needs for the East Brunswick public school system. I coached soccer. I served for 6 years on the East Brunswick Youth Services Commission. 3 of those years I was president. The East Brunswick Youth Services Commission encourages the development and growth of youth serving programs. From that, I served as president of the Friends of Community and Youth Services, and currently am the advisor of the East Brunswick Youth Council.
Well, that's just not enough, I guess, right there. You know, wow, that's a tremendous amount of activity in just a few years. I mean, 8 years, 10 years, I guess you've been here. So all of the things you've done over the years, it would seem probably you're most proud, as you know, we've met and talked more about the work you've done with the teens on the Youth Council. So tell us more about your involvement with them.
Okay, when I was on the Youth Services Commission, I often heard from the teenagers in the community, you know, we're bored, there's nothing to do other than the mall, what do you do? A friend of mine works in Somerset County on a youth council there, and I was talking to her about, you know, how to get something started in our town, and went with Mike Reisner to Somerset County and looked into their program and started with 2 teenagers really looking at how to do it here in East Brunswick. We started it in like 2000. We got our nonprofit status, and it became up and running with 22 kids on May 8th, 2001. We have almost 200 kids in the program now. It's for 9th to 12th graders. And originally it was for just social and recreation programs for them, you know, to run trips. And they've built it, it's youth run, into a huge community. They do community service. They have an environmental committee. They do tons of cleanups and trips with environmental. They even help with Butterfly Park. They have a human relations committee. They do cultural diversity projects on that committee. There's school issues education right now. It's Alcohol Awareness Week over at the high school. They have a ski and snowboard club. They have a volleyball club. So it's become quite big.
Sounds like a lot of involvement from your part. So this is 10 years in that you've been doing all these activities. What keeps you energized and motivated to keep doing it?
The diversity, I think. There's a huge, you know, diversity that comes along with being involved with them. Their energy level. their ideas. They're extremely creative in their thought process and what their needs are, and trying to fulfill their needs is very rewarding for me, very rewarding. And to see it grow and blossom and know that it's really making a difference having the Youth Council in East Brunswick. So I think what's keeping me motivated is just knowing that it's making a difference for the teenagers that live here.
Well, I know you mentioned before we went on camera that currently, as you just said, 200 students are involved, but it's almost hard for you to actively recruit because you're concerned that the size would blossom to the extent you wouldn't even find a place in East Brunswick to meet.
We have the East Brunswick Town Council gave us the Nature Center in July of last year as a place for us to hold our meetings and our social events. And we do hold our meetings there, but our general meetings are held elsewhere. We might get 80 to 100 kids at a meeting, and the teen center, which is the old nature center, is just way too small for us. So we really are going outside for a meeting space. We do hold our executive board meeting there, and maybe on our environmental committee meeting. And we have nights like poetry night. We had a catchphrase tournament, open mic night, stuff like that. But we do go elsewhere because it's definitely a problem with space for us.
So I'm sure you wouldn't be too hurt to hear that in a previous conversation with the Home Depot representative, Tim Ansbach, who mentioned that the Home Depot would like to continue to work with the youth in this town, and one of the suggestions he had, and we talked about, was maybe expanding the current teen center for more children. So. Oh,
that would be awesome. Home Depot has been so wonderful with us. We would have never been able to renovate that building if it wasn't for their help and their generosity and their support. So I didn't even realize that it could, we could make it bigger. That's really good news for us. So we just work on one problem at a time. Space is an issue. Transportation is an issue. Trying to get everybody where they need to go. The township lets us use their vans. We as adult advisors took this defensive driving class, and the township lets us use their vans to transport. So we fit 12 in a van. Sometimes we'll go on a trip like to Rexplex. We take all 3 vans, Sometimes we take a whole bus, like to Great Adventure. We'll actually not rent, but we pay $240 for Laidlaw to come and take us to Great Adventure. So
that's great.
That's good. Good news.
Always good news to have the kids involved in town.
Yeah.
Well, Karen, congratulations again on winning this award, and much continued success in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, we're here at Bound Monroe this afternoon with Val Rabinskis and Matt Mariani, who just completed a project, so we're here to celebrate that project. Can you tell us about it, Val?
Sure. This is the completion of a Middlesex County Urban Forestry grant that we were awarded. It was called Where the Wild Things Are, and our goal was to set up an ecological unit here that would attract birds and insects, and at the same time prevent erosion from we had a big erosion problem here. And what we've done is built an amphitheater, and then used the grant money to put all of the native plantings that you can see back here around the amphitheater. Matt, would you like to explain what you've done?
Sure. Well, basically, to get all these plants in, I recruited a bunch of my friends and fellow scouts from my troop, as well as scouts from other troops, to help me put these plants in for this project, help Mr. Rabinskis out and Bound Monroe. Basically, I supervised the planting of over 100 shrubs and trees that are native to New Jersey, because that was the guidelines for the grant. And, well, basically, once we had the trees and shrubs here, it was a matter of getting the scouts and digging the dirt and mulching them. And here we go. Here we have it.
You did a couple of other things, too, though.
Oh, yeah.
You were here last night.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, last night we just stayed in the amphitheater over here because the amphitheater needed some stain to protect it from the elements because it's outdoors. And we also painted that garage door because the paint was chipping and some panels were loose also.
So you were here to help make Bound beautiful.
Right, exactly.
Hi, I'm Jen Forbes, and I'm at Memorial School today with Principal Rita Meehan. Mrs. Meehan, can you tell us about the special assembly you held for the students today?
We had a culminating assembly today to celebrate the closing of our year-long work with the Character Counts initiative that we started in the beginning of the year.
And how did the Character Counts initiative begin?
Well, it began actually over a year ago. Mrs. Patricia Wright, who is the principal at Frost Elementary School, started this initiative to build a positive school climate throughout the 8 elementary schools. And she had a district-wide training with all of the schools, and we learned about bullying techniques to introduce in all the schools. And so Lori and I got on board and decided to develop a school-wide plan to teach our students about the 6 character traits this year.
That sounds excellent. And we're also with Lori Idle, who's the Student Assistant Specialist here at Memorial. Mrs. Idle, can you talk about the specific activities related to the Character Counts?
Sure. Basically, we wanted a year-long event to really encourage kids to demonstrate positive character traits. So each month, the teachers were responsible for introducing a new trait, which was represented by a train car. They did a lesson on the trait, explained how kids could really show this trait to others, and then we started the train on one end of the school, and each time a student demonstrated a character trait, their name was written on a train. And we did really well. It went all the way around the school, so we had lots of kids sort of showing us that they could, demonstrate these traits.
That's an excellent program, and it was a wonderful assembly today.
Today, actually, we had many visitors come to talk about each character trait. Dr. Magistro was here. The mayor came to talk about citizenship. We had 2 people from the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts come. We had Mr. Frank Knappenberger, who is our athletic director, talk about fairness. Officer Hakel was here to talk about trustworthiness, and our own Mrs. Kramer talked about caring. So it was a wonderful representation for the children to see each character trait represented through people that they know. So it was very meaningful.
So everything that we do in our job is to help somebody. Now, if you didn't trust me, would you let me help you? No.
Especially I knew that I wanted to be, and I could be, anything I wanted to be. And you can be anything you want to be.
Playing by the rules basically means whatever's written down, you've got to follow. Whatever the coach says, you have to follow. Sometimes the coach makes a mistake. Maybe says the wrong thing to you. Sometimes the referee, volunteer paid, makes a mistake. But you must respect that.
And when we put those colors side by side, now what do you think we've done? Kids for Character Rainbow, Kids for Character Rainbow, Kids for Character Rainbow, and it's a really beautiful one.
Hi, I'm Cindy O'Connor for This Week in East Brunswick, and with me is Brenda Guyman. She's here to tell us about an a cappella concert to benefit Women Aware. Welcome, Brenda.
Thank you, Cindy. It's nice to be here.
Tell us about Women Aware. What is it?
Women Aware is the organization in this area that provides services to victims of domestic violence and their families in Middlesex County. Women Aware provides a 21-bed shelter to victims who need assistance immediately. They also provide counseling services and a 24-hour hotline to also provide services for victims.
And how many people do you think you've served over the years?
Over the past 20 years, we've actually served over 10,000 victims.
Wow, that's great. It's unfortunate that there are so many people in need, but
Yes.
that's the situation.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Tell us about this concert that's coming up this weekend.
We have a wonderful concert. It's called An Amazing A Cappella Amalgamation, and it's going to be fun and entertaining. It actually consists of 5 professional a cappella groups performing a variety of music. The music will be pop, rock, funk, and humor thrown in. The only thing it's not is It's classical music, so somebody shouldn't be looking for classical music. It's really going to be a fun and entertaining evening.
And where and when?
The event will take place at South Brunswick High School Auditorium, 750 Ridge Road in Monmouth Junction, and the concert will begin at 8 p.m., though tickets are available from 7 p.m. that night at the door. And people who have tickets on hold can also pick the tickets up beginning at 7 p.m. We have 5 wonderful groups performing that evening. One of the groups is the Accidentals, which is an 8-voice octet from New York City. Another one from New York City is Duende, Key of She, who is also hosting the event for us, as well as performing, is a 6-member all-female vocal band. Spare Parts is a little-known group that's just starting out from Princeton University. So we're giving them a nice opportunity to begin their careers. And the final group is Lunatic Groove, which is a 6-member male vocal band from Philadelphia area. So it really promises to be a wonderful evening.
Okay, great. And if people would like more information either about the concert or about Women Aware, how can they get more information?
They can call 732-249-4242 and leave a message if no one answers with their return phone number, and someone from Women Aware will call them back.
Mayor Bill Neary took advantage of the Town Council's night off last Monday to invite them and residents to a forum focusing on the commuter parking facilities in town.
I thought it'd be important to have this type of forum based upon the fact that we have 3 out of our 5 council members are new and may not know much of the history of the utility. There's been a request from our department, the Parking Utility Department, to have repairs and renovations to the parking garage at Nielsen Center. And we all know that there's a shortage of parking spaces for East Brunswick residents. So I really felt it was appropriate time for us to begin a dialogue regarding this parking utility.
After a brief presentation about the 2 facilities, one at the Nielsen parking deck located at Tower Center and the other behind Sam's Club, the meeting was open for residents' input. The main topic discussed was whether or not the fees should be raised to help make the parking utility self-sustaining and not subsidized by the township budget.
I can only state my common goal here is to make the utility, or what I perceive the utility to be, self-sustaining.
Okay. Well, it's been self-sustaining for 20 years.
On the back
23 years. On the back of a decision that was made 23 years ago that everyone in this administration wants you to pull away, like that. And calling it a subsidy is unfair. It's a decision that was made 23 years ago, and why all of a sudden it's being talked about and discussed now it just doesn't make any sense.
The forum even prompted former Mayor of East Brunswick, Bill Fox, to come out to the meeting to help give the present administration and residents some background on the facilities that were created during his administration.
And the property and the rental income from the property were very much a part of the same package. We saw the rental from the property as a way of providing a service to commuter parkers that few towns provided. At that time, about the only facility that existed was the Turnpike facility at Exit 9. Towns just didn't do that. And we thought this was an innovative way to provide a parking amenity to the many commuters in East Brunswick.
Hi, I'm Cindy O'Connor for This Week in East Brunswick. Welcome to East Brunswick's first annual Visual Arts Celebration. Betty, this is a wonderful success today. I'm sure everybody's very happy about it.
We are floating. The weather has cooperated, and we have everyone has turned out, and we're just so thrilled.
Tell me about what went into the preparation. What did it take to make this happen?
2 years, 2 full years of work, and now today it really paid off. We met every month, and sometimes towards the end even more than every month. And we had a committee of 15 people, and everything just gelled beautifully. What really made it happen was the Department of Recreation. These people are absolutely unbelievable. I've worked on many other committees producing different things, but I never worked with a group this wonderful. And Karen Keskis said just a little while ago, when someone asked how it happened, she said it was an effort of a village, because we have the police here and the rescue squad people have come. We have security people, we have buildings and grounds people, and everybody is just cooperating and doing a beautiful job, and we're so thrilled.
How was the decision made to invite each particular artist?
This is a juried show, as well as a show where we give prizes. A juried show is when people apply to enter the show. And so people would send in 3 slides or pictures of their works, and we would have a committee go over the work and then make a decision about whether we felt that the work was up to the standard that we were hoping to achieve.
Eleanor, tell us about how the idea came about to have this festival.
Well, it was really the Art Commission's idea, and then they looked for people to help them with it. And a few of us started formulating the idea. We went to craft shows, we went to art shows, and we got an idea of how it's run and how it's done, and the kind of art we wanted to have exhibited here. We decided it would only be fine art and fine crafts. And I was in Florida. I explored Florida art shows. People here went to art shows in New Jersey. And several of the people on the committee are artists themselves who have exhibited at various art shows in New Jersey, and gave us a lot of information about how to run it and how to make up the applications and so on. And it took a lot of planning. We waited, we didn't rush into it. We've been working on this for about 2 years now, so that everything would turn out very well, including the weather. We picked a good day, it looks like, after all.
I have been here for 45 years, and this is like an explosive cultural invitation to the public of East Brunswick particularly, and show them the arts from a tri-state area. We have some very fine, prestigious artists among us at this show. And the artists are happy, and it seems the people, for the first time, are smiling all over.
This rooster behind you has some special significance to this show. Tell us about it.
Yes, somehow the committee selected it as a symbol of a wake-up call to the township of East Brunswick to be alert to our art show. And we have incorporated it in the journal on the front page and also on the t-shirts. So the roosters are crowing, and we want you to come and see us.
Your quilts are not traditional. How did you start doing things that departed from the traditional?
I wanted to get back to some of my painting background, but I didn't want to get out the mess of the paints with small children. So I kind of combined the sewing background and the painting background. I just started cutting and clipping and pinning things up on a wall until they were kind of in a place that was pleasing. And then I had to worry about how to sew it down, but that was the fun part. So that's how that started.
Now, the judges came around earlier and asked you to bring one of your quilts over to the winner's circle. Can you describe that particular piece for us?
Oh, it's a really special piece to me. It's called Layers of Perception. It's a landscape that's done in a very collage style with fabric to look like a landscape painting. It has a lot of rough edges, and there are photographic images transferred onto fabric of my grandmother, and she was my art buddy growing up. She was really special. So she's used as a focal point in the quilt, as also as just fabric interest in parts of it. So there's a few images that are actually hidden and you have to look for.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your work greets everybody who comes in here to the fair today. Describe it for us.
Well, it's welded steel sculpture. Some of it's figurative, like the large cat, and some of it's not. It's functional, like this garden lantern. This is meant to go in a garden, and it could have a torch in it, electric lights, or it could have nothing in it. And some people use them as bird feeders.
I just opened my studio in December. Prior to that, I was working at Brookdale Community, and I was the, what do you call it, like teaching assistant. I was a teaching assistant, and I developed there a look for my pottery, and that was, they had a gas kiln. Well, if I had a gas kiln in East Brunswick would come and they would shoot me. So I have an electric kiln now, and I've worked very hard to develop the same look that I got in the gas in the electric, and I've come very close, but glazes are my thing. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a workshop next week at the Long Beach Island Foundation for the Arts, teaching glazes. It is my compulsion. I am a glaze tester, and I test it until it's perfect.
Do you do work on commission?
I do work on commission, and I was anxious to do this show just to let people know that I'm in East Brunswick, and should they need a pot, ring my bell.
I throw everything on the wheel. It's all handmade from scratch, and then I mix the glazes myself, and I fire it in an electric kiln. In my basement, I have a wheel and a kiln down there, and I make it all there.
Typically what I do is, tribal is technically a category of work where you use shapes or bold images or like what they call axe blades to design either generic images or specific ones. So I use these shapes to render, like say an eagle, for example, or lizards or dragons or anything that people like ask me to draw. And it basically, you can typically tribal is one color black or like shades of gray, and it's just the use of shapes to make either illusional work or specific work for graphics.
So how do you feel about being in the fair today?
This is my first time being in any kind of a fair or public display with my work. I think it's been fantastic. It's been nice to talk with everybody. I'm having a lot of fun. The organizers of the event's been great. This whole event is just fantastic, and I'm just really happy to be here.
This is the first annual. Will there be another?
Oh, we're hoping there certainly will be. We've learned some things this time. I guess we'll begin right away on next year's event, the 2004 event. Our mayor has been marvelous. He really spearheaded putting the pathway around this pond and the lighting. And 3 years or so ago, we said, gee, that would be a neat place for an art exhibit. And some of us just remembered it. All of a sudden, it all came together. And we owe so much to the cooperation that we got from him. We actually turned artists away at the end. We turned away fine artists because we wanted to limit it this year to 100. And we thought at the beginning we'd only have maybe 40 or 50 the first year, and we ended up with our 100 and people kind of clamoring to get in. So we know that it's the right time to do this in East Brunswick, and community is out here and coming to the thing and cooperating, and we're very happy with our first effort.
We'll close this week with the Flag Day observance at the East Brunswick Elks Club. Thanks for watching.
Coast Scholars. Please be seated.